In a recent professional baseball game, a loud lightning strike startled everyone, including the pitcher, who, as a result, flinched and stopped mid-delivery. The umpire called a start-stop balk, but was that the right call? Let's take a look at the play and then break down the ruling.
So he's on third with nobody out. 1-1 the count on Paulie. A huge crash of lightning as Contreras kicked. And it's a balk.
Wow. They're going to call that a balk and everybody jumped.
Mother Nature gives Jacksonville a run. It's 2-1. And Norfolk is arguing the call, but I don't know how you can argue that. Unfortunately,
it's unfortunate timing.
To start, let's talk about the balk that's being called. What's been called here is a start-stop balk, and that balk exists at every level. It's in the professional, collegiate, and high school rules. Specifically, let's focus on the high school rules in Rule 6-2-4D. If there's a runner or runners, any of the following acts by a pitcher while the pitcher is touching the pitcher's plate is a balk. D. Failing to pitch to the batter in a continuous motion immediately after any movement of any part of the body, such as the pitcher habitually uses in the delivery. On the surface, this call checks out, and that's especially true if you watch the video with no volume. The pitcher begins his motion and then doesn't deliver the pitch. That's a balk. But let's be real. The pitch was interrupted by a massive lightning strike. Not just a rumble, this was described by the announcers as Zeus throwing a thunderbolt. You can hear the crowd gasp, players visibly flinch. This wasn't your average distraction. This was a force of nature. And there's precedent for letting sanity prevail when we have these weird scenarios like this. The first play we're going to look at is a major league game where a noise goes off by the PA announcer during the pitch, causing the pitcher to errantly throw the ball.
Well, the boys in the audio room. Yeah, that's on you. It happens. Sounded like close.
Ultimately, the umpires ruled no pitch on this play.
So they rule that no pitch.
In our second play, of course, we got to look at Randy Johnson hitting a bird with a fastball. This resulted in the pitch never making it to the plate, and ultimately the crew ruled no pitch on the play. And in our third play, we even have an example of a lightning strike scaring everyone off of the field.
You can tell he's talking to the umpire. In real time, this is what happened.
And on this play, while we don't have a balk, it certainly gets close to it. But regardless, the umpires just kill play and run off the field. In fact, they do it without even necessarily calling time. There's just a general understanding here that this lightning is really close. We're not in a safe position. Let's get off of the field. And as a result, no playing action occurs. Runners aren't able to advance. It's simply, we just suspend play, get off the field, figure out what's going on. In all of these situations, the umpires applied common sense. If a game is disrupted in a way that's extraordinary, you kill the play and move on. Sometimes baseball has absurdities. When Randy Johnson exploded a bird, the rulebook didn't specifically have a clause for what to do when a pitch strikes a bird. But everyone knew that wasn't a pitch. Same logic applies here. Now, my take on this is that yes, there is rule support for calling a balk here, but ultimately, good umpiring, we probably shouldn't do that. We have the ability to rule in scenarios that aren't covered specifically in the rule book. And in this scenario, I think we could use that. We could say that this wild, loud lightning strike, this force of nature, caused a disruption to play, and that we're not going to enforce a balk because of that. And there are scenarios where we inherently kill play or play stops, even when the umpires don't call time or there's not a reason to call time. We see this, for example, when a fight breaks out mid-play, the umpires don't call somebody out because they get tagged or anything like that. In fact, play ends pretty much when the fight happens, and really regardless of whether or not the umpire actually makes the motion of time. There's precedents here that we just kill play because something extraordinary that's not baseball is happening. The same logic would apply if a fan runs onto the field behind home and a pitcher then does not deliver the pitch. And of course, it should apply here if a lightning strike causes a player to flinch. So for me, the spirit of the game matters, and in this case, for fair play and reasonable action, we shouldn't be penalizing the defense here for this act of nature. But let me know in the comments, what do you think? Would you call a balk here, or are you going to go along with my logic of we're just going to kill play and reset? Now, I do want to talk with you about how I would handle this situation after we called time, and a little bit about the differences between professional and high school and collegiate baseball. First of all, at the professional level, they're relying more on the grounds crew and the general manager to keep them up to date on when lightning is within a unsafe distance. At the high school and collegiate levels, we're probably also relying on a trainer or a head coach to have that information for us. Sometimes we're waiting for a weather alert or there's a siren that'll go off for lightning. But if there's ever a scenario where you think it was really close and you want to check, go ahead and call time and go to the trainer, go to the head coach, go to the game administrator, and confirm with them that the weather is not unsafe. Had this scenario been at a high school or college game, I'm probably immediately calling time and then going straight to the home team's dugout to get an answer from game management or the trainer, at least confirming that that strike was not within the unsafe area. And the benefit of doing this is that I'm showing to whichever team was the offensive team that this was an extraordinary situation. This was probably caused by lightning being within an unsafe distance. And we're not going to handle this as just a regular balk because that's not what it was. This was caused by something extraordinary, something that's not normal. This was caused by something that's not related to the game of baseball. And so I'm probably bringing everyone off the field, but at least this loud and sudden noise, it was enough to cause a concern, cause a slight delay in the game as I confirmed whether or not it was safe to play. And ultimately, we're going to nullify the action. There was no pitch here. There was no balk. When it comes time, we'll come back and just resume play from before the balk occurred. So again, that's how I'm handling the situation, and that's how I'm going to rule on this, that there was no balk. But certainly, let me know in the comments. Are you calling a balk here? Are you enforcing it? Are you immediately getting off the field like they did in the Rangers game? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're thinking and how you'd handle it. And hopefully there will be a good discussion in the comments. So as always, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the field.